Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara is one of our best of 2022. Joining me today and accepting the award is Mr. CV Raman, Chief Technical Officer, Maruti Suzuki. Raman-san, always a
Morning.
pleasure to see you.
And thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Raman-san, I believe that there's technology sharing with the Grand Vitara with Toyota. So, what technology is Toyota's and what technology is Maruti Suzuki's?
Well, the Grand Vitara has been conceived and designed by Suzuki Japan. And what Suzuki has brought onto the product is the K15 engine, the entire design and integration of the all grip technology of Suzuki, and also integrating the Toyota hybrid system. The 1.5 liter engine has been integrated by Suzuki onto the, and of course there is a co-sharing in terms of the platform. The platform is Suzuki's platform, and badging has been done separately. It's a new design for Toyota and it's a separate design for Suzuki.
Yeah.
So there is a differentiation which is there for both the products, so it's part of the global alliance of Suzuki as well as Toyota of sharing of products and sharing of technology. So I think so you can see more of that going forward.
And you've always said that hybrids are the answer. So
Yeah.
it started with mild hybrids, now there's a full hybrid. Is a plug-in hybrid the next step in that evolution, or what is next?
Well, we always believe in having technology agnostic approach towards the CO2 emissions and improvement of fuel efficiency, and we believe that the segments where we represent from the entry to the top end, different interventions are required, and so therefore we are into CNG, we are into getting into ethanol, and now the mild hybrid, as you said, we had launched that more than 7 years back, and now the strong hybrid. Definitely, I think it's a self-charging system where one is able to derive on the road maybe about 30 to 40% electric mode. It starts in the electric mode. So I think it's a transition to a full electric. Yeah, for a plug-in hybrid, yes, technology is available, but definitely we'll have to see again, from what value proposition it gives to the customer. Based on that, I think you can decide that. But there's no plan as such for plug-in hybrid.
And from a technology standpoint, I mean, a pure EV versus a hybrid, is a hybrid almost more difficult to execute in many ways because you have to marry the two powertrains in a sense?
Yes, that's true, because the IC engine is there. You have to manage that, and you have to manage the transition to the electric mode, and so the integration of that definitely is a challenge. But I think the THS or the Toyota hybrid system, which is there, is a proven technology which is able to do that very well. The switchover between the electric mode and the ICE mode is absolutely seamless, and as far as the customer is concerned, one is really not able to make out which mode one is driving in. It's only at the end of a trip you come to know the improved fuel efficiency or what the person has got from during the drive.
So diesels are still a big part of the Indian market. Do you miss not having diesels, or how do you think that'll play out going forward?
Well, Maruti Suzuki had taken a decision to exit diesel, and we believe that in the long term, from the next 10 years, the regulatory environment is going to become more stringent, and now next year onwards we have the real driving emissions kicking in. The conformity factors are equivalent to Europe, so in that way it becomes even more tougher, and the smaller diesels you would see it becomes difficult to make a value proposition for the customer. The larger diesels maybe still make a chance, but come 2027, 29 or 30, when Euro 7 or BS7 norms come in and the next phase of CAFE comes in, it's going to even become more tougher. So from a long-term perspective, the volumes are reducing, and you can see that it has already come down to 17-18% from a high of 40% 2 years back, and so it's likely to dip further.
And if you were to really look ahead, I mean, Europe is saying they may even do away with Euro 7 and go straight to banning all ICE vehicles by 2035, what implications would that have from a technology development standpoint for a market like India or the rest of the world? How do you see that playing out?
India is a unique market. We believe that Indian customer also requires aspirational products. As I said earlier, that we are looking at a technology agnostic approach, that we will be having all the technologies. Now, as far as Europe is concerned, their requirement is very different, and maybe it's more. I believe, it's my personal opinion, it's more of a political statement to do away. It does not meet, from a technical point of view.
Yeah.
And they have renewables. Another way to look at it is
Yeah.
that, and from a CO2 carbon footprint perspective, they can still make that change and the switch. India is very, very different. India does not have the renewables. We have ambitious plans to move towards that 2030 when we go on a well-to-wheel basis. If you look at the hybrid is today maybe almost equivalent to a EV on a well-to-wheel basis. And going forward, when we become more renewables, maybe 50% or 60%, and then you can start seeing the traction, and that's the path. In the next 10 years, then that happens. Maybe that's the time when the switch will start happening. But I would like to say that in the next 10 to 15 years, ICE is here to stay, and we need to definitely continue to improve that and electrify that through start-stop technology or ISG or strong hybrid technology is what we believe in the transition.
So do you feel that sometimes in the political discourse, you mentioned well to wheel?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a very important metric to look at the overall impact that a vehicle has from production till end of life. Do you think we're missing that aspect of the conversation?
I guess so. We believe so that that's a very important aspect, because when we're talking about CO2 norms, GHG reductions, one needs to look at the entire life cycle of the emission, and we are trying to reduce the carbon footprint. Somewhere, if you're looking only at tailpipe emissions, we miss the point. And that's why we believe that we need to look at other technologies like bio-CNG or flex fuel vehicles, which are carbon negative fuels, which can help India achieve its overall objective of reducing this greenhouse gases and the CO2 in a long term. So I think we have to balance the growth, we have to balance the CO2 footprint, and from that perspective, definitely I think it makes a lot of sense to look at various technologies, and that well-to-wheel aspect is a very important thing which should be kept in mind by everybody.
And you have always, whenever we talk to you, you have a lot of technology in your back pocket which you're developing and working on. Can you give us any insight into what's coming next?
Well, I think we, in the last 2 years, and last year, we've seen that we have brought in a lot of products, and we have also integrated a lot of new technologies. And technology development is something which we'll have to continuously push the pedal. Customer aspiration is changing. The vehicle is becoming more connected with the infrastructure. It's becoming more digital. And so if you see a cockpit today in a vehicle, it is becoming more digital. The electronic component is increasing. And so the complexity is increasing. And definitely, I think in order to make value proposition and make comfort and convenience for the customer, we need to continuously upgrade the technology. And definitely, I will not be able to tell you exactly what we will be doing, but definitely you will see in our products that it will get reflected that the technology.
Thank you very much for joining us, Raman sir.
Thank you,
Always
Dhruv,
a pleasure to talk.
And thank you for this award, and like to accept this on behalf of Maruti Suzuki. Thank you very much.
Also joining me is Mr. Ram Suresh Akila, Head Marketing, Maruti Suzuki. Akila-san, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you.
Good morning, Dhruv, and it's always a pleasure to see you too.
Akila-san, you've made big waves with the Grand Vitara. There are various variants on offer between all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, mild hybrid, full hybrid. Which ones are the ones that are getting the most traction in the market?
You're right, Dhruv. With the Grand Vitara, we have various options available to customers to suit various requirements that the customers might have. So we have the manual transmission, the mild hybrid, the automatic transmission, all Suzuki all grip, and of course the intelligent electric hybrid. The initial response has been amazing, especially 1/3 almost of the customers opting for the intelligent electric hybrid. So that's, I think, quite a pleasant result to see. So that's, I think, something which is making some good waves. Yeah.
And do you think having an all-wheel drive in this segment also is something that is important and attracting people?
I think there is a set of customers who would like to have an all-wheel drive. Particularly in this segment, there are not too many options. Although there is a shift in customer preference towards SUVs, it is more like SUV-ish kind of body shapes and other things. But if you actually see in the mid SUV space, there are not too many options that you have with an all-grip or a four-wheel drive kind of a thing. So that's something which I'm sure the enthusiast kind of customer profiles would prefer. So we do have that, and the Suzuki all-grip legendary technology that is there, we wanted to introduce it with the Grand Vitara.
There is, of course, a partnership with Toyota. So there are two visually fairly different looking products on the market. Underneath the skin, they're quite similar. But from a customer perception standpoint and from a brand perception standpoint, how do you differentiate between the Toyota and the Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara?
I think, I can talk about the Maruti Suzuki.
Yeah.
When we are positioning it for the customers, like we call it a new breed of SUVs, I think we are looking at serving a diverse range of customer requirements, starting, like I said, from the manual to the automatic to the all-grip to the hybrid.
Yeah.
Whereas what I can see from Toyota, it seems to be more focused on the strong hybrid, which is the communication to the customers.
Yeah.
But I think with the kind of the reach and the kind of customer base that we have, I'm sure we'll be able to reach out to more customers in the market.
So we've talked about SUVs and all-wheel drive. I can't let you go without asking you about the 5-door Jimny. Are we going to see that at the Auto Expo next year?
That's a difficult question to answer. In fact, as a policy, we do not comment on our upcoming product range. But I do understand that there's an amazing level of anticipation in the market, and we are cognizant of that.
And anything you can tell us about next year from a product standpoint? What can we expect or look forward to in 23?
So we've had a very busy 2022. You would have been seeing since the Celerio and the Baleno, the Ertiga, and the XL6, the Brezza, the all-new Brezza, that's making waves.
Yeah.
So we've had a slew of launches.
Yeah.
And I think we'll keep ourselves busy in the next couple of years as well.
Thank you for keeping us busy. And thank you once again for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.